What is up, you guys? Thank you for watching this video, and the time has finally come for me to build a bumper for the Montero. So I pretty much get made fun of every day for having this stubby bumper, the stubby stock bumper. So you know, I'm gonna build a new one out of some real steel. So I got some stock down here for it, and some plate for the winch. Oh, winch! See, now I didn't want to start building this bumper without having a winch first to test fit, because I'm pretty much building the bumper around the winch. So I got a hold of Open Road 4-wheel drive. They didn't send me this for free. I still had to pay for it. You know, it was still a decent amount of money. They just gave me a nice discount on it. So I don't have any affiliation with them other than they sent me this winch at a discount. I'm still going to do a review on it. I'm not gonna say it's great just because they sent it to me. If it's bad, I'll let you know if it's bad. All right, so to get down to the guts of the bumper build, you're gonna wanna undo this bumper. Boom. Comes right off like that. That's how I was driving around with it. Now, they do, Adventure Driven Design does sell winch plates for this, and if you have a stock rig, that would work perfectly for you. It's welded in. I think it's a pretty good deal for what it is. It's all nice laser cut. All you do is weld it in and you're good to go. But I can't do that because I have the V8, and pretty much where the winch plate welds onto, I have a radiator back in here. I'll show you guys closer, but I'm kind of stacked. I don't have a whole lot of space right here for the winch, so I've been kind of brainstorming how I'm gonna do it. So this is my transcooler. It usually sits down low like this. I think what I'm gonna have to do is modify the mounts, and bring it up much higher, somewhere in this range, just to get some extra space. A little hard to maneuver in here with the lines on it, but yeah, I'm just gonna have to move it up, I think, and then I want the winch as low as possible. I think at this point I'm probably gonna make the winch plate and the bumper totally separate. So the bumper is just gonna be a pretty simple one. I might add some tube to it later, some headlight guards and stuff on it, but for now it's going to be pretty simple. So pretty much this transcooler is going to be very in the way for me here. I can't move the winch up. So what I'm planning on doing is welding. I have some 3/16 plate. I had some 3/16 plate right here, which should be plenty strong. Once I brace it up, it'll be totally strong, especially if it's welded. If it's welded to this piece, this is an 1/8 inch 1x2. This stuff's super strong too. So if I weld it to here, it's gonna come out like this, and then my Fairlead mount out here in the middle. It's not gonna stick out past these frame horns. Yeah, I'll just make the winch plate, and then we'll deal with this thing later. Okay, so this is essentially how the winch plate is going to go on. Obviously, I'm gonna have to cut it right here, and I'm gonna bend it up so I have a spot for the Fairlead to mount to. But yeah, that's pretty much how it's gonna go. It kind of channels in here. It's gonna get welded to this tube, welded to that tube, welded to the frame here. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the winch in there and see what it looks like. So as you can see, I'm running into an issue with this guy, with the transcooler. So that is going to be my biggest obstacle, I think. But I think something like that is going to work for me. Doesn't stick out too far. I think I'm going to cut it somewhere in that range for my Fairlead. I don't know, maybe when I bend the Fairlead up, I'll also weld it to this. Then that should be pretty good. My trans, you know what, I think I'm gonna have to cut the body, because just right here, maybe take an inch out of that, because all I need is an inch. If I move this up an inch, maybe cut out this a little, then I'll be golden. So I think I'm gonna have to do that, unfortunately. I don't really like cutting the body, but that kind of looks like I'm gonna have to do that here. So here is where the winch is going to sit, very roughly, you know. So it's tucked pretty far in there, you know. That's really as far as I can go. My bumper's gonna stick out probably a little bit more than that. I think about 8 inches. I'm more like 4, probably like 5 inches off of the actual body, so off of here. Let's see, how far is that out? So from the body, yeah, just about 5 inches out. My fairlead's gonna stick out a little bit more, but really this is as good as I could do with the space I have. Okay, here we go. I got the fairlead mount bent, all bent up. It's kind of hard. Now I don't think this is too bad. I think that's about as good as I can get. It just pretty much meets where the skid plate comes off of. All right, time to weld this thing up. I've already done a couple beads. We all know it's summertime, right? We're trying to get that summertime tan going. This is a very quick way to do it. So just wear a tank top when you weld, and that's pretty much how I do it. I'm just gonna stitch weld this first, so I'm just doing small 2 or 3 inch sections. Perfect. So I'm just gonna jump around here and try not to heat it all up at one time. All right, got some decent welds on that. Welding 220, of course, because this is 3/16, so I was welding at what it needs to be welded at, hot enough. And it actually, I overbent it by about 2 degrees, and welding this corner brought it back to perfect 90, so pretty happy with that. Mounted on there all nice and tight. I might weld the nuts on the back side, not sure, because it probably doesn't need to be welded, but yeah, that's where it's gonna sit. I think I am just gonna leave this extra beef on there so I can weld it to the frame right there and right there. I don't think it's gonna hurt anything, except it's a little bit heavier, you know, but that's not too big of a deal. I'm gonna weigh this plate because I'm curious to what it weighs. All right, I'm gonna start welding this guy up. I actually weighed this and the fairlead, and it weighed exactly 15 pounds. So just trying to keep track of the weight I put up here. Got all this stuff grinded, and nice clean bare metal. Same thing on here, I grinded it all down. And I'm just gonna put this in place, see if I can level it out, and we'll go ahead and burn it in. I am actually going to disconnect the negative terminal in the battery. I usually don't do that when I weld, but I'm actually pushing some real amps through this, so I don't want to ruin anything. I'll go ahead and disconnect that. Okay, got this thing where I want it. I'll just show you guys on camera here. We are 3/4 from that. We are 3/4 from that. We are 5.5 up, and we are 5.5 up. So perfect. Just so you guys know, it is welded pretty good all the way down. Pretty decent on the sides, on this side, that side. Fully welded in now. It's pretty strong. I think I could probably stand on that. The winch is mounted. It's I miscalculated my holes a little bit, so that is touching the bolt head, but I think we'll be all right on that. Yeah, it's in there. I have room, some room on the back, you could see, which is good. It's kind of how I wanted it, and I don't think I'll have a problem with how this is. At least I hope I won't. We will see. But yeah, seems pretty good in there. I'm gonna go ahead and paint everything, and then put it in. Put the winch in there permanently. Okay, well, I got this thing roughly hooked up, and I'll show you guys how it works. So here's the wireless remote here. You press this red button, you see that little light come on up there, and now I can press out. Grab it, hold it. Comes off pretty good. Obviously, the car's not running right now, so I don't want to run it too much, but boom. Perfect. It works perfectly, and it came with 2 of these remotes and 1 wired remote. Now, I'm not really sure where I'm going to move the relay box yet. It might end up going on top of the bumper and kind of fishing through the grill there, but we'll see. Okay, so pretty much what I'm going to do with the bumper mounts is I'm going to cut these whole things off of here. So I'm going to cut these off, and I'm going to weld a piece of this 2x3 in there, kind of at an angle to bolt onto the bumpers, or bolt onto the top plate of the bumper pretty much. And I think that should be pretty easy. I'm gonna do it on both sides. Now the whole reason I'm doing this is because I have that much space in between there, so I can't really get a nut, a plate and everything through that. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go straight up on here, and since I'm gonna cut this flat and kind of, you know, make it flush with these, I think it'll look all right. These are just my risers, so this is gonna weld to the frame. I'm probably gonna plate it right now with some more 1/8 inch, so it's a total of a 1/4 inch, so I don't have to go and buy some more stock. All right, so this is kind of what I got going on. So I got my 2x3. I welded an 1/8 inch. It's kind of like a T. This thicker bracket on the outside, that is temporary. That's actually gonna get welded to the bumper. I just welded it onto the fixture so I could get through holes that are perfectly lined up. So now what I need to do, it looks kind of janky because it is, but it's also going to be very strong and still be lightweight kind of. All right, I got these posts welded on there, not all the way, they're just tacked in. Got the bumper mounts tacked onto the bumper here. I'm going to cut it right here and taper it down. So I'm going to keep welding all this stuff so it can be solid and I can actually remove it. All right, got these guys fully welded all the way around. Super strong tabs welded on. I painted them. All right, I got the bumper cut at the angle I want it to come off of here. So, you know, something like that, and come off at the right angle to over here. And then I think I'm gonna have one more piece. I don't know, something like in here almost. I don't know yet. No, see, I could totally do that. So it'll come off of there to there, and then nice tuck in there all nice. All right guys, pretty much got this side finished for now. I just got to do the other side. You can see how that guy's cut to in line with the body there. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side, and let's go ahead and do it. All right, I got it this side done. Got a few gaps to weld in, but if it looks off, it's because this side has been hit before, so it got pushed in quite a bit. So I kind of had to eyeball this side, but looks pretty good to me. All right guys, one thing that's messing me up a little bit on this driver's side is the person I bought this from had like hit a little pole here, so you can kind of see the rust, and it's just a little bit, this panel's kind of messed up. So what's happening is this panel sticks out further, so pretty much every piece I'm cutting now is a totally custom piece. And like I couldn't transfer these pieces over to that side. So but you can see the gap right here, quite a big gap. Let's go on the other side that hasn't been hit, and pretty much no gap all the way up, in line with the light. And that is not the case with this. I never noticed it as much, but now that I'm trying to build a bumper for it, I notice it. So what I'm gonna have to do is extend this piece out another 1/2 inch or so to make it even with the other side. All right, pretty massive mess out here, but I changed up my design a little bit. Before I went here to another piece to another piece. Now I just kind of did that and have one long piece going in there. I used all of the 2x3 that I had because I changed my design halfway through, so I got a few of these guys sitting around, but I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Again, this side where it was it hit something here, kind of messes it up a little bit, but the bumper is still the bumper, so it doesn't look out of place. I have it overlapping a little bit. I'll go ahead and cap that off. Did it on both sides, and then I'll be ready to go get some plate so I can actually cover up this section here. All right, this is pretty much the rough outline of the bumper, the frame, you know, the strong part, and I think it looks pretty good actually. I got my light bar mounted up. I like how I got it almost flush with the bumper. I think it looks a lot better that way. And something cool is that these tabs, I pulled them off of my stock bumper. That was kind of like the first thing I ever fabricated. All it is just some bent mounts, but I cut the bent part off and welded them on. So that's just kind of a cool thing, you know. First thing I ever really fabricated right when I got this car was a stupid little mount for the light, and look where it is now. Now it's on an ugly bumper. All right, just went and picked up some of this 1/8 inch sheet. I'm going to probably make another bolt hole right here, probably for a 3/8 bolt. These ones are 7/16, so I'll probably 3/8 bolt all the way through, and I'll have that piece kind of come up here. It's going to get welded to the bumper obviously, and probably go all the way back to here and come down as a kind of like a triangle. Not exactly sure how I'm going to do that yet, but just like with everything, I'm just going to play it by ear and see what it ends up looking like. All right, I welded this flat stock on there. I made it this short in the beginning, and I figured that probably wasn't enough for what I'm going to end up doing, so I had to weld this other piece on there. Now this is probably going to get tapered down a lot, but yeah, I got to cut this triangle out a little bit bigger than what the cardboard is, and then I'll cut that other piece in here once I weld this guy on. So I'm tacking everything on right now just because I really don't know how this is going to go, but we'll see. It looks good so far. All right, I'm liking the shape of this. I think I'm going to go ahead and fully weld it. You can see kind of how I did this. So I used an 1.5 inch strap right here, and then I used some of my sheet 1/8 inch right here, just in a triangle, and then I used more 1.5 inch strap. So, and I just kind of bent it around here. Don't mind this cut. This was a test piece, and I decided I wanted it longer, so welded another piece in there. So I really like the way this looks. I'm gonna cut the frame horns, I think, a little bit, but really, I mean, I'm not getting too much more clearance out of the bumper or anything, but I am mainly just so the tire hits first is kind of what I was doing. But I'll probably cut the frame horn a little bit here and plate it in or something, I don't know. All right, well, got the bumper off, and it's pretty much fully welded all the way around. The only thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and weld that to the bracket here. I didn't want to do it when it was on it because it's so close to welding to the actual mount. I took this, I weighed this thing, and it was only 32 pounds, so it's super lightweight. That's kind of what I wanted. So all in all, with the winch plate, these brackets, and the bumper, we're like 110 pounds, which is super light. Now what I'm gonna do is weld a little crossbar in here just to make this a little bit stronger. I think I'm also going to weld a piece in here like that and kind of taper it off all nice, because that probably add a lot of strength and gets rid of this sharp edge here. All right, so major work on the bumper is done. So what I did last night is I capped off these ends. I'm gonna fully weld that today, obviously, and then I also added this bottom piece in there. You guys might not be able to see it, but it's pretty much just another flat piece that goes from here down and connects to that. That just adds a little bit of strength. I did the structure bar in here. Pretty happy with how it turned out, actually. I think it looks pretty good. Very high clearance and should definitely add some strength. Pretty much work today is going to be grinding down all of these welds and just cleaning it up a lot. And then I also want to get my winch working today. Well guys, I think we are finally to the fun part. So I grinded down all the welds. You can see, I mean, I'm gonna fill all this with Bondo, these little cracks and stuff. They're not actual cracks, but they're little crevices that when the weld dug in, you know. I'm gonna clean all that stuff up. I got this side welded on. Everything is pretty much ready to be Bondoed, and then tomorrow we will paint it. I think it's gonna look great. All right, I basically just made a skim coat of Bondo. I'm gonna sand it all down super nice. I think it takes like an hour to set up and be hard enough to sand. So I did both sides. I am not a bodywork person, but I've used Bondo before, and I think this is gonna work great. All right, I did a very, very thin layer of Bondo on the seams, all my welds, you know, and came out super nice. I think it's pretty much ready for paint right now. I might grab some, might spray some primer filler on there, or just regular primer. It's actually pretty good. I'm not trying to make it perfect, because I'm probably gonna hit stuff, it's gonna get scratched and all that, but I do want it to look nice in the meantime before I do that stuff. So pretty much all I gotta do left pretty much all I gotta do is hand sand like the corners and stuff, just because it's hard to get in there with my orbital. And then there's some little bit of pitting right here, so I'll probably cover that. You know, everything else is pretty good. All right, so I got the bumper all primered, and I just sanded it real quick with some I don't know, probably like 400 grit, whatever's on my orbital, I don't remember, but it's pretty worn down, so this is nice and smooth. But this is where I'm going to be painting it. I have an electric Wagner spray gun that I'm going to be using, and I'm just going to paint it with some Rust-Oleum. I'm going to probably thin it I don't know, 20% or so, and that should spray pretty good. I'm going to do a 4-to-1 ratio, so 4 parts paint and 1 part I'm using mineral spirits, which is what Rust-Oleum calls for. So I'm just going to mix it in this cup here. Probably only going to use like 16 ounces of paint.
Well guys, I think we finally finished it, at least for now, until I want to add some tube or something to it. But I got it all nice and painted. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. And I'm very happy with it. I think it adds a good look to the front end of it. It's actually a little hard to see since it's black, but I think it adds a good look to it. Plus the winch plate and the red winch line and stuff looks super cool on here. Well, I think that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. It's really awesome seeing the channel grow. Make sure you check out my Instagram. It'll be in the link in the description. That's just so you guys know what I'm doing pretty much on a daily basis, or if I'm making a new video or something, you guys will know first. Also, stay tuned for a review on my winch that I got from Open Road 4-wheel drive. That'll be a later video once I have some time to actually test it and put a load on it or something. But yeah, stay tuned for that video. Almost forgot to talk about the price of this bumper. Now, for me, it was almost all free. All that I had to buy was a sheet of 1/8" steel plate and some 7/16 bolts. So the sheet and the bolts cost me maybe $20. But if you were going to build this bumper and you didn't have a bunch of stuff laying around like I did, the bumper itself weighs about, let's see, actually less than 40 pounds. Let's just call it 40 or 50 pounds, right? And most steel places are anywhere from $1 to like $2 a pound. So you can do the math there, anywhere from $50 to $100 in steel. And then obviously you have to have the tools to work the metal and get it to how you want it to be. And now for the winch plate, I used 3/16. That was a 15-pound winch plate. So again, 30 bucks, call it $30, and then another 100 for the bumper. So 130 bucks, I have the whole bumper made, and then throw your whatever can of cheap spray paint you want to put on it if you want, and you're good from there. So 130 bucks. The whole weight of everything was under 150 pounds with the winch, which I think is a huge weight savings as opposed to buying a big heavy duty, like super overbuilt bumper that you might not even use all the time. Like, I don't plan on smashing this into a ton of trees, but it can handle it, I think. But I guess there's only one way to find out, so stay tuned for that video as well. And yeah, again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.